Real shit, street shit, man, we watching Maas. Real shit, street shit, man, we call on Maas. Real shit, street shit, man, we watching Maas. Real shit, street shit, man, we call on Maas. This is Conversations with Maas. You know what time it is? This is Conversations with Maas. Subscribe now. Lock in. Let's go. Real shit, street shit, man, we watching Maas. Real shit, street shit, man, we call on Maas. Real shit, street shit, man, we watching Maas. Real shit, street shit, man, we call on Maas. This is Conversations with Maas. You know what time it is? This is Conversations with Maas. Subscribe now. Lock in. Real shit, street shit, man, we watching Maas. Real shit, street shit, man, we call on Maas. Real shit, street shit, man, we watching Maas. Real shit, street shit, man, we call on Maas. This is Conversations with Maas. You know what time it is? This is Conversations with Maas. Subscribe now. Lock in. Real shit, street shit, man, we watching Maas. Real shit, street shit, man, we call on Maas. Real shit, street shit, man, we watching Maas. Real shit, street shit, man, we call on Maas. This is Conversations with Maas. You know what time it is? This is Conversations with Maas. Subscribe now. Lock in. Let's go. Real shit, street shit, man, we watching Maas. Real shit, street shit, man, we call on Maas. Real shit, street shit, man, we watching Maas. Real
What's goody?
shit, street shit.
What's
man, we call
goody?
on Maas.
What's good? My skill.
This is Conversations
And this
with
is
Maas.
short conversation. Shouts out to Matt Crease on the intro. Shouts out to Matt Crease on the intro. But before we go any further, got to give thanks to the Most High for allowing us to see another day, see another sunrise, see another sunset, and another day to love on the people who we cherish. With that being said, I'm Maas, and yeah, today was a crazy day. Today was a crazy day. It's one day till the weekend, and this morning, the NBA season began Tuesday night, and a lot of teams' first game was last night. And Terry Rozier, who plays for the Miami Heat, did not play Wednesday night because I'm kind of pretty sure that they knew something was going on. So his coach did not play him. And Chauncey Billups, who is the coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, he did coach his team last night. And this morning, they were awakened by the FBI knocking on their hotel door. And they were both arrested, along with one of the Lakers coaches, Damon Jones. They were all arrested for gambling. And kind of hit close to home because Terry Rozier, who was arrested, he played for Louisville Cardinals in college. I watched him for 3 years play. Good player. Made it to the league. He signed, I think, $160 million worth of contracts. And then you have Damon Jones, who played some years in the NBA. And he became a coach. I think he's been like training LeBron, things like that. But he was also employed by the NBA. And Chauncey Billups, who had a great career playing for the Detroit Pistons and pivoted that into being a coach in the NBA, they were all arrested this morning. And a lot of you all probably asking yourselves, why, with all the money that they've probably made, why would they resort to doing something illegal? They know it's illegal. Betting on games that you're involved in. And you all see the thumbnail. I put Adam Silver in the thumbnail as well because I kind of think he's culpable to everything that's going on. Because he basically signed a deal with FanDuel, and sports betting is legal now. So it's like the Wild Wild West. There are even sports betting scandals going on in college basketball as we speak. And all of this stuff is tied to the mafia. And as well, Gilbert Arenas wasn't arrested in this, but I think a couple of months ago, Gilbert Arenas was arrested because he was having illegal poker games, which were, I guess, managed or housed by mafia people. And all of this is crazy because the individuals, the mafia individuals who are said to be involved in this, they're all known entities of the Alphabet Boys. But they're allowed to operate and take advantage of young men who don't have money. But you never see, you never hear, you hear their names, but you never see pictures of these other individuals. But the basketball players, the basketball coaches, they're plastered across media. If you go to CNN right now, the main thing on CNN is mafia-linked gambling charges rock the NBA sports world, because it's not just basketball. It's not just basketball. Yeah. Sports world rocked by mafia-linked gambling. And this is crazy. This is crazy. And I say it's crazy because now it's being said that LeBron is linked to everything that is going on by the fact that the information that Damon Jones was passing was information that was basically LeBron didn't tell him, but like I said, with Damon Jones is kind of weird because at one time he wasn't a part of the league, but he had access to LeBron. So he kind of knew what games LeBron was going to play, what games LeBron was hurting, what games LeBron was feeling good, and things of that nature. And he was relaying this information. With him, where the problem starts is when he became a employee of the Los Angeles Lakers, and he was still relaying this information to whoever he was relaying the information to, which is considered insider trading. Insider trading, which is punishable, where I think it's punishable by up to 25 years. So for each count, I'll have to look that information up. But yeah. What up, YWG? What up, Camille? Before I go any further, shouts out to everybody that's watching on Facebook, Instagram, and Africa TV. And most definitely, last but not least, everybody watching on YouTube, my MA family, and everybody else that's here. Yeah, now that I've thanked everybody for being here, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, share this video out, and subscribe to the page. So yeah, LeBron has been linked to this. They haven't said that LeBron was giving the information to Damon Jones. Basically, what they've said is Damon Jones, by his access to LeBron and the Lakers, he was getting that information by his own volitions. That's why LeBron's name is just out there, but LeBron is, as of now, they don't think that LeBron is linked to any of this. Damon Jones was just taking information that he was privy to and relaying that information to some bettors. And I have a video. I got some videos that I'm gonna let you all see, and it's crazy because you can say, how can you tell if somebody's trying to throw a game? But I'm gonna show you video of Terry Rozier that I was able to come across, and this video was crazy, y'all. The video is crazy. The video is crazy, to say the least. Because you look at some of the things that Terry Rozier was doing, and yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But here is the video of Terry Rozier. Now just watch this, you all. This is crazy. I think I'm gonna make myself small. I'm gonna make this big so that you all can see. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. Just watch Terry Rozier, you all.
Rozier turn it over again, having a tough night. And Rozier off the DHO, and he turned it over. Turn it up. But you don't want to play with your team, especially against Miami. I can tell you, hey, you don't like playing in Miami? Better do all up down to 3. They got to get busy. Rozier with the 9-1-1 comes up short. On Merrill. Rozier contested 3 is short. The ultimate teammates and sacrificed so much.
This video is crazy.
That all year. Empty quarter 2-man game. Rozier with a 3. Anderson with a rebound. Rozier relocates for another try. Oh, that was awfully shady.
Yeah, crazy. Crazy is an understatement. I don't know if Cash Patel was. I'm pretty sure he was a part of it, but yeah, this is really bad. This is really bad, and it's bad because you look at this information, this type of information is coming out about LeBron. And it's funny that just a couple weeks ago, information came out that LeBron and Maverick Carter are going to attempt to start a league in Europe that will challenge the NBA. Now, it's not weird that information came out because, LeBron's a billionaire. I'm pretty sure that Maverick Clark is somewhere close to a billionaire because he's had an association with LeBron since LeBron was in high school. I think it's his best friend. So you got two people with a lot of money, a lot of power. LeBron brings a lot of power, who have said that they're going to try to come out with a league in Europe to challenge the NBA. And then 2 weeks after this information comes out, it comes out that LeBron has some connection to a betting scandal in the league. What can you say? And the mafia has been around since the mafia has been at war with the government since all the way back to Prohibition, maybe even before Prohibition. It's the same actors, it's the same families. I'm good. Same actors, the same families that have been around for over 100 years. And these people are still in power. They're still actors. They're still known criminal entities, but nothing ever happens to them. I wonder why. Now, I'm not knocking nobody's hustle, but I'm just saying that the same actors, the same families, the same people have been around going back to the beginning of the mafia up until the present. The government knows the actors, but nothing ever happens to them. The people that they have extorted or coerced or whatever they've done to get these people to go into these criminal activities with is beyond me. Is beyond me. Hold on for 1 second, y'all. Juggernaut, what's good, brother? What's good, brother? YWG said the government's job is to make sure wealthy black men get a mark on their name. Wow. I didn't say that, but okay. I be having visitors to the show, and they'll come in and they'll be here. Then they have to bounce. They always say they're going to come over and they're going to be a part of the show, but then they don't want to get on camera. But okay, YWG he brought facts to what he said. He said Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, Wesley Snipes, Fox, Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, Sam Cooke, and I'm pretty sure that there's other names you could probably add to that list. Is it the referees, the dirty referees? I mean, you have to have the referees that are in on this as well. It can't just be players. It has to be refs. And we always say, what's funny is, they have this point spread that comes out on a daily basis. The betting line for all sporting events. The betting lines come out every day. Now, we're not saying that the referees look at these betting lines. We're not even saying that the referees bet. But for some odd reason, those betting lines usually stay true to form. There are upsets and things like that. But when there is a major loss where the casinos lose on the bets, you hear about it. And there's always, you can look at it. You'll watch football games and a team will be winning by 6 points and the spread will be 3 points. And this team may get a penalty on the other team so they can get some yardage, get a first down, and get in field goal range. I watch basketball. When I'm saying this stuff, I'm just saying this stuff as hypothetical. Nothing I'm saying is everything I'm saying is hypothetical. You'll have a situation where the Indiana Pacers will be winning by 6 points and the spread is 5 points. And there'll be 3 seconds left in the game. And whatever's happening is non-consequential to whatever the game is. And a phantom foul will happen and somebody goes to the free throw line and shoots 2 free throws where whatever it goes under. Yeah, I watch this stuff. I'm pretty sure you all see it too. And then another thing is a lot of people don't know that sports are not sports. They're the NBA, the NFL, the NHL, MLS, MLB. These entities are not registered as sports leagues. They're registered as entertainment. They're registered as entertainment, and in the clauses of the creation of them, the commissioner and the owners can make fit whatever outcome they want to make. You can look this information up for yourself. The NBA, the NFL, the MLB, NHL, they're all registered entities just like the WWE. But there's a reason that you cannot bet on wrestling because they admit that it's scripted. Yeah, you can't bet on if Andre the Giant will beat Jerry. You can't bet on that because it's scripted. Now, they may be in there hitting each other for real and punching and slamming and all that, but the outcome of the fights is already predetermined. That's why you can't bet on WWE wrestling events. But they allow you to bet on NFL because they want to portray it like it's a sports. No, it's entertainment. And the commissioners can see whatever outcome comes about that they want to see. But they're not going to tell you this. They're not going. And people always ask me, why don't you don't bet? I always tell my friends, like, no, I don't bet. Why don't you bet? Because I have nothing to do with the outcome of what's going on. Why would I bet on something that I don't have? I have nothing to do with the outcome of it. That it's just, I play poker because my decisions and what I do depends on the outcome of how much money I'm gonna make. Yeah, I bet like that. But nah, two teams, I'm not going to bet on that because I know that it's registered as entertainment. But I read a lot. Yeah, I would never bet on the MLB game. I would never bet on an NFL game. I would never bet on a NBA game because they're registered as entertainment entities. So they can make sure whatever outcome they want to comes about, whether they admit it or they don't. They don't have to admit it. So if you do something that's against the grain of whatever they have scripted, it causes problems for them. That's why this is so big. But my thing is to bet against yourself. How much money were they bought for? What was the price? What was the price of infamy? How much money did Chauncey Billups? How much was these men are rich? These men are rich. How much money did they take to? How much money was enough for a chance of losing their freedom, of being infamous? Some people have prices. Everybody doesn't have a price. No matter what people say, oh, everybody has a price. Everybody does not have a price. You can't pay for integrity. You can't pay for integrity. There is no price. Integrity is priceless. There's not a price that you can put on integrity. How much money was enough to risk their freedom when they were already rich? All three of these men. The bigger question is how much money is enough to be sufficient? A lot of people will say there isn't an amount to be sufficient. There has to be. Was it greed? Was it greed? How much did they take? How much was the price for their integrity? In all social circles that they go in for the rest of their lives, there's people always going to be whispering when they come in. That's the dude that bet on the games that went to jail. For the rest of their lives. How much money was worth that? Shouts out to everybody watching on Facebook, Instagram, Freaky TV, and right here on YouTube. Hit the like button. I never knock nobody's hustle, but yeah. These men were already rich. They were still in the leagues that they have been accused of cheating on because, we're going to say accused. They're not guilty. They're innocent until proven guilty, but this is going to be a hard one to be proven innocent. It's gonna be it's a hard one. And just imagine that your teammates and everybody in that hotel see you getting walked out of there in handcuffs. Juggernaut said they all involved. It was just time to slow them down a little bit. They were all involved. Y'all know what it's Facebook, Instagram. Y'all know what time it is. We need y'all to come over and join this conversation. This lively conversation going on in the chat. Yeah, I'm about to cut y'all off so y'all can come over and join us. Wrist warmers? Leave it to YWG. Wrist warmers. Wow. Wrist warmers. Okay. Wow. Tell Ray take the coffin with him. YWG, boy, you word on the streets. Jordan and Magic was betting, but was giving an out. I mean, I've never heard Michael Jordan was betting on NBA games. I have heard that Michael Jordan had a betting addiction. I mean, if you're a billionaire, man, I don't think you're going to lose $1 billion. It's a crazy time. It's a crazy time. College students are getting, it's a college betting scandal as well. I pulled up a lot of articles. I put up a lot of articles. And yeah. Hold on for 1 second. There's a commercial playing on this video, but I'm going to play this video courtesy of ESPN. The video that they have and what they're saying about what's going on. And yes, Cash Patel was front and center. And I'm about to play this video front and center. Mr. Cash Patel. Courtesy of ESPN and First Take.
As you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families. The fraud is mind-boggling. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery across a multi-year investigation.
Wow. So I think it's safe to say that there will be more people. There will be more arrests. There will be more arrests. Here you go, man. Here you go. Juggernaut said the outcome of professional sports is already determined at the beginning of the season, from what he's heard. There have been instances of people coming out and saying that they got their scripts for the NFL season. Yeah, I'm not a bettor. I hope they don't. I hope they don't get life. I hope they don't get life. But it's sad. Greed, because that's the only thing that you can say is this is greed. We're talking about people. We're not talking about people that were wondering where their next meal was going to come from, wondering. No, these are not those individuals. These are not the people that we're talking about. These people have money in the millions. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. With what you have seen, I put a poll up. I think I'm going to change it in a minute. But basically, the question was, which of these is the biggest issue of the scandal? Insider NBA info used for bets, 29%. The mafia in sports gambling, 71%. Those were the only two that received votes. The other two categories were underground poker tied to NBA games or referees influenced by the mafia. But the overwhelming number of responses was the mafia in sports gambling. I would say that the mafia is at the top of the food chain when it comes to sports gambling. And I don't care if it's a legal company or an illegal company. I just believe that even the legal companies have some ties to the mafia. It's just my belief. It's just my belief. The mafia was tied to casinos in Las Vegas. Why wouldn't the mafia be at the top of the totem pole when it comes to sports gambling, legal or illegal? Right. Juggernaut said the mafia is gambling. It makes no sense. Right. It makes no sense for them to be surprised. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Yeah, there's a reason. You know, Jake Paul parades around here saying he's the toughest guy in boxing and this, that, and the other. And woo, woo, woo. But there is a reason that all of his boxing matches are exhibition. There's a reason, because they're scripted. Yeah, Mike Tyson came out and said, yeah, shut up. You paid me to make you look good. Like, yeah, quit playing. We all knew that was scripted. Did we really think Jake Paul went 10 rounds with Mike Tyson, 50 years old or not? Come on now. Mike Tyson could knock him out in his sleep at 50 or 60 or 65 or whatever. I've seen Mike Tyson's training videos. And the training videos did not speak to what you saw on that night, because Mike Tyson was paid to not knock Jake Paul out. I don't think there is any difference, Juggernaut. I don't think there is any difference between what Juggernaut said. What's the difference between this insider trading and government insider trading on crypto. I don't think that there's any. Do you know how much money people lost on crypto the other day? Crypto was like, yeah, it's new age. Yeah. You think you got 10 million and 2 seconds later, that 10 million is you owe somebody 2 million. Yeah. People gamble on sports. I think that athletes, people who compete at a high level, I think that they're susceptible to gambling. I think they're susceptible to gambling. And the reason I say this is, and I'm not saying no names on no individual. Don't hit me in the background and ask me who, what, where. It doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is I have had access to people who played sports at a high level. People who were really, really good in college and really, really good in the pros. I've had access to these people. These people like to bet. When I was in college, I stayed in the dorm with the basketball team. We used to play tunk every day. Some type of gambling was going on a daily basis. I think gambling while I was in college, I think that's the reason why I don't like gambling now. Even though I didn't lose a lot of money, I won. We used to gamble. We used to play spades for money. People were playing dominoes for money. Every day there was some type of gambling going on. And I just think that people who compete at a high level, they get enjoyment out of betting on other people who achieve in sports at a high level. Yeah. People who play sports gamble. Period, point blank. People who compete at a high level, it doesn't stop on the field. It doesn't stop on the field. And as we've seen, some people get an exhilaration of betting on themselves. Not for the good, for the bad, to miss shots. Yeah. Crazy world we live in. Crazy world we live in. People gamble. People shoot craps. People play CeeLo. There is some type of gambling going on every second of the day, 24 hours, every day. There's some type of gambling going on. Why do people think that sports people aren't going to gamble? They're just a segment of society. Some people aren't going to bet, and some people, no matter what, no matter how much money they got, no matter what, they're going to bet. And they'll tell you. Competition. But is that competition worth your freedom, your livelihood? You know, this major scandal raises questions about the integrity, the governance, and the structure of professional basketball. And that's why I have the commissioner of the NBA, his name just Adam Silver, on that picture. He's culpable. The NBA is in bed with betting companies, which means they're in bed with the mafia. Because, like I said, make no mistakes about it. Legal or illegal, the mafia is at the top of the totem pole in sports betting. Always have been, always will be. And LeBron, did this information about him wanting to create a league rival to the NBA, is that something that enhances this? Did they look at this as a way to get LeBron to tone down? I mean, how do y'all look at this? LeBron says him and Maverick Carter are going to create a league to rival the NBA in Europe. And 2 weeks later, LeBron, well, he wasn't arrested. He's been named as information about him was used to supply information to the mafia. I mean, what do y'all think is this Donald Trump and the FBI targeting black athletes? Is that what this is? Or are there other athletes that are a part of this they just want arrested yet? Because it's not just black people who bet. And it's not just black athletes who bet. And it's not just black athletes who bet illegally. I'm just pointing out things. I'm just pointing out things. Yeah. But you would think by these arrests and by the headlines that only black people bet illegally. And we know that's not the truth. We know that for a fact that that's not the truth. But yeah. Say it again. How much money was worth your integrity? We're coming up on 50 minutes in the show. Hit the like button. To people that just joined, we're talking about the betting scandal, the NBA betting scandal that basically I would say that some part of the investigation came to a close and arrests were made today, but it's an ongoing investigation, and I'm pretty sure that there's going to be more people that are going to be involved in this betting scandal. Coaches, players were arrested. It wasn't just players, it was coaches. But as Cash Patel said in that video, there were numerous mafia families that are involved in this, and I guess that there have been arrests that have been made in those families. Like he said, 30. The 3 people that are arrested probably are the most high-profile people that are arrested today, but there were 31 people in total that were arrested. I guess they had simultaneous FBI raids where 31 people who were involved in this NBA betting scandal were arrested today. The people who have been at the forefront of the headlines have been Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and they've been throwing LeBron James's name out there. He's the most he is the he was and he still is among the best players in the NBA currently, but he is one of the best players in the history of the NBA. And I just think that even though he has not been said to have done anything wrong, I just think that, this is another attempt at defaming this man. He's never done anything bad in the news. You've never heard anything negative said about LeBron. He's a family man. He's been married to one woman his entire career in the NBA, Savannah, who is a perfect example of what an NBA wife should be, even though they have these other TV shows on. I think Savannah should be studied about being a quiet woman. I think she should be studied about that because she is a perfect example of how a high-profile wife should carry herself. Very quiet, non-discreet, looking good, really feminine. She should be a case study. But I just think that LeBron has no associations with this. Damon Jones, I think he used his access that he had to LeBron and the access that he had to the Lakers. I think he used that access on his own. I don't think LeBron, you got to be careful with the company that you keep. But LeBron has been around Damon Jones for a number of years. You don't want to think that LeBron knew that he was passing that information along, but how could LeBron not know he was passing? It's a slippery slope. I don't want to go down it. I'm not going to go down it. It's a slippery slope. But at this point, they're saying that the information that Damon Jones was providing was not given to him by LeBron. It was information that he surmised on his own by his access to LeBron and the Lakers. And that's the way we hope that it stays, because we do not want LeBron. I mean, I do not want LeBron. I hope that LeBron is not a part of this, but everybody is, people have the free will to do whatever they want to do, but I don't think that a billionaire would jeopardize his integrity by taking that little bit of money that the mafia was offering. The mafia is never going to pay you really what you're worth for your integrity, because integrity is priceless. Integrity is priceless. Dark Star and April Showers, how y'all doing tonight? Integrity is priceless. You can't, there's no value on integrity. Like I said, these men who were arrested today, every room that they walk in for the rest of their lives, there's going to be whispers. There's going to be whispers. April Showers and Dark Star, I asked everybody earlier, how much is your integrity worth? Dark Star, how much is your integrity worth? April Showers, how much is your integrity worth? YWG, Camille, how much is your integrity worth? Is there a price on your integrity? is there a price on the integrity that you have built up over these years? Right. You can't buy me. You can't buy me. You can't buy me. There is no price. There is no price that you can pay for integrity. You're not too late. You're just a little late, April Showers. But yeah. These men were millionaires. These men are multi-millionaires. These are men who have been in the league in excess of all 10 years apiece. But Darkstar says she's a safety manager. Ain't no way she can be bought. Some April Showers said, "What about Michael Jordan?" But April Showers, we've all heard those rumors. We've all heard those rumors. And Camille said, "Not at all. Can't be bought." Exactly. So that's why I don't understand. And we don't have millions. We don't have millions, and we can't be bought. These men had millions, and they could be bought. What does that say? What does that say? What does that say? We are millionaires, and we're saying that we don't have there ain't no price tag on me in terms of my integrity. But these men had millions. These men's bank accounts got 6 zeros. Darkstar said, "Look at Pete. Yeah, look at Pete Rose." But Pete Rose had a gap. Most people that get caught up in these types of situations have gambling problems. They have to. Because in order for you to take a deal with the mafia, you have to owe them something. There had to be something where these men had to deal with the mafia. You don't just say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get into bed with the mafia." No, you don't just say that. So something caused these men to have to partner with the mafia. When you got millions, you don't just go to the mafia and say, "Hey man, I can throw some games for y'all. I just need I'm already cool. My money's cool. I'm just, a little bit more money is always cool." No, that ain't how this. No, they owed the mafia some money, and they had to do whatever they were doing to work off their bill. April Shower said, "Do you think there's any way possible the mafia threatened their family?" That's possible. The mafia's been known to break people's kneecaps. Juggernaut said, "Some people reach a point that money is not the goal. It's power. There's power in controlling someone's fate." They're controlling their own fate. They took some money to throw basketball games. And my thing is they're they had to, like I said, you don't just say, "Oh, I'm great, man. I'm great. Work this deal out with them. I got millions in the bank, but I'm about to work this deal out with the mafia. I got millions in the bank, but I'm going to get in the bed with the mafia. But I'm cool, but some more money I can make. Nah, that's not how that goes down. That's not how that goes down. More stuff is going to come out. More stuff is going to come out because lots of other nationalities don't look at snitching the way people in America look at snitching. Because they believe that if they're telling on somebody else that's not a part of their family, that ain't snitching. That's self-preservation. Whereas in the black neighborhood, you snitched on, yeah. And citizens can't snitch. Citizens cannot be snitches. Only criminals can be snitches. Or a criminal that was part of some type of situation. That's a snitch. People got the definition of what a snitch is mixed up. Citizens ain't snitches. Like I said, somebody snitched on these basketball players. Believe that. Somebody snitched on these basketball players. Somebody snitched on Gilbert Arenas that he was having underground illegal poker games with NBA players at his house. I've been to poker games in people's basements with cigarette smoke and cigar smoke wafted in the air, playing poker till 6 o'clock in the morning. I didn't did that. April Showers coming in with the Dark Stars. Okay. Dark Star says she met Pete Rose. Pete Rose is real cool. I had a chance to meet Pete Rose myself. Pete Rose is really nice, real cool dude, real cool. I'm glad that I had the chance to meet him. Yeah, there's a hat store here called Bat Sacks. That's where I get all my brims. I get all my brims at Bat Sacks, and the owner of Bat Sacks, Gus, is a longtime staple of Cincinnati, and lots of people come through his hat store to see him. And it just so happened that one day I was in there and Pete Rose was in Bat Sackies, and Mr. Gus, introduced me to Pete Rose, and I got a chance to shake Pete Rose's hands thanks to Gus, the owner of Bat Sacks. So yeah, it pays to be in the right place at the right time. So yeah, Pete Rose is really cool. Dark Star said, imagine if Michael Jordan was still, he would still be the best, even if he played in this generation. April Shower said, Maas, what if the Mafia had their own agenda? Who was going to win these games, and the players had to protect them? April Showers, you bring up some valid, maybe. You never know. But what I'm saying is people don't just seek out people that don't have a problem don't really seek out the Mafia for help. The Mafia is not in the business of helping people. They're in the business of taking advantage of people. Never did nobody say, I want a loan from the Mafia. Nobody never said that. Nobody has ever in life said, oh yeah, I want a Mafia loan. Nah, nobody in life has ever said that. Juggernaut said the FBI is worried more about a gambling ring than a sex trafficking ring. That's crazy. You can't make it make sense. You can't make that make sense. Yeah, man. Stop playing with me. Hit the like button, man. Stop. Yeah, man. Man, tell them YWG, man. Stop playing with me, man. Hit the like button. Stop playing with me. Hit the like button. But yeah. Hold on, we're gonna pin that. Yeah, we're gonna hold on. We're gonna pin that. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Stop playing with me, man. Hit the like button. You are 100% right, Jug. The FBI is more worried about a gambling ring than a sex trafficking ring. And you can't make that make sense. And this is a sex ring that the president possibly was involved in. You can't make that make sense, Jude. You can't. And like Dark Star said, a distraction. Do we have a distraction from the Epstein files? Because no matter what type of distraction we put, we still want to see those Epstein files, President Trump. We still want to see those Epstein files. And there's people that say, no, we shouldn't put them out because it's too. No, I want to know every single person that did something with a child, and I want them under the jail. Anybody that violated some women and some children, I want them under the jail. So yeah, I still want the Epstein files. This little betting scandal, it ain't no distraction for me. I still want to know because those people deserve to be under the jail. So it's not a distraction for me. This is just another news cycle. It's just another news cycle. There is no distraction from the Epstein files. We still want to see the Epstein files. Because I want to know if Epstein introduced Donald Trump to his wife. That's what I want to know. I want to know if Epstein introduced his worker, Melania, to Donald Trump. That's what I want to know. Allegedly. Allegedly. And all you big YouTubers out there watching my shows, taking my info, I see you. Give me a little bit of credit, man. Damn. But I see you big YouTubers. I see you. I see you, you big YouTubers. I see what you do. I see what you do. I'm just a little YouTuber. At least give me some credit. I see you, you big YouTubers. I see you. And I'm growing. So I'm coming. Yeah. Hit the like button. Exactly. Exactly, YWG. We need to know about those PDF files. Yeah, we want to know all the PDFs. And y'all know what we're talking about. Y'all know what we're talking about. Yeah. I need to know. I want to know. Because it seems like this administration is protecting criminals. But they want to put the guys out there like they're tough on crime. But they're not tough on the criminals in those files. Not tough on, yeah. I see through it. You want to portray yourselves to be tough on crime and tough on this. We're going to take over Memphis. We're going to take over Chicago. We're going to take over New York. I see straight through that. That's a guise to throw off the criminals that y'all got right there in your face. Yeah. I see through those tricks. I read all those books on COINTELPRO and what y'all did. So I see through what y'all were doing. You're not tough on crime. You're tough on some crime. You're arbitrary about the crime that you're tough on. Put those Epstein files out. Put those Epstein files out. Diddy better not squeal. He had a neck to, they said Diddy had a neck to his knife last week in jail. They even put a picture of the knife that he had to his neck. So I don't think Diddy gonna say nothing. He's just hoping he get out of jail or get commuted. And then they said his family went to New York thinking that President Trump was gonna commute his sentence. And then they went up to New York, and then President Trump came up the next day and said it was false reports that he was going to give that man a pardon. Yeah. Wow. Darkstar said DAs are now going after predator catchers. What? Well, I know that one crazy white dude, he got arrested because he did some. It's a lot of predator catchers out there. I see those videos on WorldStar practically every day. Because the thing about it is, that's kind of kidnapping. You don't want to say that, but it's kind of kidnapping. They go and make whatever little sting they make, and then they hold people, but they're not law officials. That's kidnapping. So yeah, and some of those predators are suing the predator catchers because they're not law enforcement officials. So yeah, they're going after the predator catchers. And the predators are suing the predator catchers. Crazy world we live in where a predator can sue the predator catcher, but the predator catcher has to work within the confines of the law. You can't kidnap people and hold them against their will. You can't do that. That is kidnapping. Juggernaut said, this is another way to stop cash. Yeah, it's another way to stop cash. They are determined to remove it from. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. And now with the government closed, the FBI can really concentrate and focus on other stuff to be a distraction. To be a distraction. Yeah. YWG said they stealing from the little fish. Darkstar said, yeah, Diddy better not squeal. And his family on the streets. He better not say nothing. He better do his time like he's standing on his head. Right, Darkstar. Right, Darkstar. Some of them dudes is just stupid. And that's the way you have to look at it. Nothing good can come from being involved with the mafia. Not as a black person. Nothing good can become of being involved with the mafia as a black person. I guess they didn't watch none of them old gangster movies. where they was getting called moolies and all types of stuff. They didn't, man. I watched those old Italian movies. I'm a movie buff. Yeah, moolies. That's what they call black people in those movies. Moolies. Y'all watched them. So why would these dudes think to get in? I guess none of these people watch no Quentin Tarantino movies. Now, that's not all Italians, but we've watched the movies, and we're talking about the mafia. I've never heard an Italian say I've never heard an Italian say a good thing about a black person that they were having dealings with in a mafia movie. That's where I'm basing my statement from. And if you have, please tell us in the comments. But all the gangster movies I've seen, I've never seen a mafia member say anything good or nice about a black person that they were dealing with. Yeah, it's a movie, but mobster movie. Yeah, exactly, Darkstar. So you know exactly what I'm talking. Darkstar says she's a mobster movie buff, so you know exactly what I'm a mobster movie buff too. I like mobster movies, but I'm just being honest. They wasn't saying nothing good about black people that they was dealing with in mafia movies. Most of the time, the black person ended up dead that was messing with the mafia in those movies. Why these dudes think they're any different? Hey. Darkstar said the police don't want to look bad. Police, FBI, CIA, they are arbitrary with the things they do. That's what we must understand. Once you understand that they are arbitrary with how they influence their power, you can move accordingly. Yeah, but that's not falling into a stereotype. I'm not falling into the stereotype. I'm not saying all Italian. I'm saying the mafia. I'm not saying all Italian. Yeah, I'm pretty sure your Italian godfather was not in the mafia. So we're not talking about regular working folk who all of us are down in the mud. We're talking about the mafia. And in those mafia movies, the mafia. I mean, you always have movies where, one of the little Italian ladies liked a black dude. Like I said, the black dude probably usually ended up dead because you messed with the little Italian girl. Probably happened to you. I don't think that. And that's not all the mafia. There was some, if you a movie buff, so you know that there are some people that was in the mafia that was cool with black people to a certain extent. But for the most part, stereotypes are not. I'm not getting in. I'm not. Stereotypes or no stereotypes. I'm not dealing with me. I'm not dealing with the mafia. Nothing good can come from dealing with the mafia as a citizen. Oh, guess who was? When we speaking on Dark Star, you know I'll be talking fast. But yeah, some of these basketball players, they're not thinking smart. I don't think they were thinking at all when they made the decisions to get in bed with the mafia. It's consequences. I say this all the time. All actions have consequences. Some good, some bad. But all actions have consequences. You look at choices like that, it makes a lot of choices easy. Some decisions are easy. People just make them hard. And it's an easy decision to say, no, I'm not getting in bed with the mafia. That's a very, very easy question to answer. No, I'm not getting in bed with the mafia. Why? No. Easy answer. Marshall said the mob just wanted to stay in gambling and prostitution. I can see that. We just crossed the hour and 20 minutes. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. We got big scrimmage tomorrow night in Louisville, where Kansas is ranked 19th in basketball, and Louisville is ranked 11th in basketball. They will be scrimmaging tomorrow night in Louisville at the Yum Center. Tomorrow night will be the introduction of Mikal, the 5-star point guard for Louisville. This will be his first. This will be the first time the public will be able to see him in a game setting. He hasn't played in a game since the gold medal game of the USA junior basketball tournament that happened earlier this summer. He was a part of that. He should have been the MVP. I'm not sure why he wasn't the MVP, but he's going to show you all his game tomorrow night in Louisville as Kansas, the 11th ranked Louisville Cardinals, will scrimmage 19th ranked Kansas Jayhawks tomorrow night in Louisville at the Yum Center. Not sure what time it is. Probably 7, probably 8. But yeah. With sports gambling being on everyone's phone and people being able to bet, I mean, you see it now. Guys go to the football game and they cuss out people because they didn't get a touchdown for their fantasy league. People are playing in these high-stake fantasy leagues and they cuss football players out because they didn't get a touchdown. So you see it. You see it. You see it. Yeah, Dark Star said, like in the movies. The Godfather said, leave the drugs to the darkies. And they also said, don't sell drugs in our neighborhood. Go on the other side of town where the darkies live at and sell them the drugs. Yeah, Rozier played for Louisville, and he's involved. Yes, you were 100% right, Juggernaut. So, yeah, he wasn't betting on games in college. But he sure, that Jug, I showed this video. You all that had a chance to see the video that I showed y'all of the games where Teddy Rozier had big bets on him and he didn't get the over. What do you all think about that video? What did you all see in that video of Terry Rozier allegedly point shaving? Do you think it's clear cut that he was throwing the games from that video? Or is it, and you could say it, but then again, maybe he was having a bad night. I think some of those plays were not regular basketball plays. As an NBA player, as an NBA pro, some of that stuff that Terry Rozier was doing, and I love Terry Rozier, but some of that stuff that he was doing in that video, yeah, the mafia has a cut of anything with a criminal element. The mafia has, yeah. I don't think that there's any criminal entity element that the mafia is not tied into. I live here in Newport, Kentucky. You all can go back and look at the video that I did when I first moved here. I went to Pasquale's Pizza, and the owner of Pasquale's Pizza, Mrs. Pasquale, told me the story of how Newport, Kentucky, where I live at, was once considered Las Vegas of the Midwest. There is a club called the Syndicate, which is on one of the main streets in downtown Newport. It's been here forever. It's never changed. It's always been the Syndicate. And they had pianos with gangsters on the mural. It was said that Bugsy Siegel, Al Capone, all of the major figures in the mafia came here and were here in Newport, Kentucky at some point in time back in the early 18th century. Yes. Right here in Newport, Kentucky. It's known that this was a gangster's paradise. I don't know why, but it was. So the mafia is everywhere. The mafia is everywhere. And in that video, Mr. Pasquale tells me that story of how gangsters were moving here in Newport, Kentucky, Las Vegas of the Midwest. And the Cincinnati Reds are the oldest baseball team of all the baseball teams created. That's why up until they started playing these Sunday night games before the night, up until a few years ago, Cincinnati Reds always played the first game on opening day because they are the oldest team in Major League Baseball. But yes, it's a sad day when the integrity, I'm not going to say it's a sad day. It's a sad day when these men have been arrested for dealing with the mafia and get caught up with the mafia. It's a sad day, but also the men who did this, Terry Rozier, Damon Jones, and Chauncey Billups. These are multimillionaires who, for all outside viewing, seems like they would not have any reason to be in bed with the mafia. The only reason I can see that they were in bed with the mafia is because maybe these men have a gambling problem. And they had too large of a tab with whoever their bookie was that was connected to the mafia. And they had to some way work that off or get their legs broke. That's not a stereotype, Dark Star. The mafia did break kneecaps. Yeah. Next to the Yankees, the Reds. Yeah, you see. I grew up when the Big Red Machine was playing. George Foster, Dave Concepcion, um, the Cobra. Yeah, at the time, Dave Parker. Yeah, I love Cincinnati Reds. So yeah. But to all the people that came in now, hit the like button. We're talking about the NBA betting scandal and everything that's been going on. LeBron's name has been thrown into the mix because of his association with Damon Jones, who at one time was just like a trainer for LeBron, and then he basically became a coach on the Lakers staff. Um, Damon Jones, along with Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier, were all arrested early this morning. Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups were arrested at the hotel where their teams were staying because both their teams had played last night, and basically they had not got up to go to the next city of where they played next, and they were arrested. There's a picture of Terry Rozier being led out of his room with the bracelets on. So today was a wild day in terms of the NBA. I'm saying that the NBA is culpable just because of their association with known betting companies. Betting can be, you can have sports betting, but just because there's sports betting doesn't mean that the NBA has to have an association with what's the name of some shoot, I don't know. I don't use none of them. Sports betting, but MGM sports book on what's FanDuel. Yeah, the NBA, the league, the NFL, even though they're sports betting, they don't need to be in business with these companies. But I guess they feel like they have to be in business with them because sports betting generates billions of dollars a year. And the NBA probably is greedy and they want some of that money. But to me, it's like it's a conflict of interest for the NBA to have an association with the gambling company that's taking bets on their players. To me, that's a conflict of interest. To me, to take money from the betting companies who make the betting lines. Why wouldn't you think they would go behind your back, NBA, and get people to bet against their teams? In the business world, they call that business intelligence. In the betting worlds, they call that insider trading. Yeah, make no mistakes about that. In the business world, there's information being relayed between companies about other companies, but that's business intelligence. But you can't use that same type of in sports betting. And I really can't understand why a college kid, I can't because I wouldn't do it. But I really can't fathom why an NBA player, men that have multi-millions. Terry Rozier has had $160 million in contracts. And if you even take out the taxes on that, $80 million, that's a hell of a lot of money to play a game. I don't think that there's anything that would make me jeopardize my integrity and that paycheck. That's me. All I got is integrity. I got a little bit of money, but I got more integrity than money. And I'm happy with that. Because my integrity will get me to the money. I don't know. So what they've said is Rozier, guard, currently alleged use of insider knowledge to make big bets. Billups, coach and former star, alleged ties to the underground poker ring as well as sports betting. Then we have Damon Jones, veteran, alleged actor in these schemes. The allegations are serious: money laundering, wire fraud, illegal gambling, and the involvement of external criminal networks. These are not your average locker room hijinks. Yeah. This is about betting, corruption, and league structure tie together. All of it ties together. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Exactly, Dark Star. People's lives rely on integrity. As we come up on an hour and 40 minutes into the show, we're going to talk for a few more minutes. Then I'm going to end this show. And tomorrow's Friday. I'm going to try to figure out a way to do the sex show. I can't really do the sex show early, but tomorrow's Louisville's homecoming. I plan to go to homecoming. But if I don't go to homecoming, I will do the sex show. And if I go to homecoming, I will be going live from the alumni party where the grown folks will be at. And I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go party with the young noobs too. Y'all see, it's the weekend. It's Louisville's weekend. She with the noobs. She with the noobs. We'll give it back to you Monday, but this weekend, all y'all's ladies, they with the noobs. They with the noobs. But I hope that information comes out to say that these men are not involved in the alleged criminal schemes that these men have been arrested for and charged with. I hope that information comes out to prove that these men are innocent. And if it's proven that they're guilty of the crimes that they have been accused of, do the crime, do the time. But we would hope that that's not the case and these men are free. You know what? Y'all might get. I might show y'all what these shoulders do this weekend. I might show y'all. I don't know about going down and wiggling out, but I might show y'all what these shoulders do this weekend. I might show y'all. But yeah, this has been another edition of Adult Conversations with Maas. If I don't go to U of L's homecoming, I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Subscribe now. Lock in.
Tonight we talked about sports betting scandal that rocked the NBA. Chauncey Billups, talked about Terry Rozier, talked about Damon Jones and Alcohol Association, talked about hopefully he's being proven innocent. But until then, time will tell. This has been your boy Maas Appeal, and this has been another edition of Conversation with Maas. Shout out to the Noops. Yo.
With Maas.
She with the Noops, y'all.
Subscribe now.
I'm out.
Lock in. Let's go. Real shit, street shit, man, we watching Maas. Real shit, street shit, man, we call on Maas. Real shit, street shit, man, we watching Maas. Real shit, street shit, man, we call on Maas.
Lab Addicts Music Group.
This is Conversations with Maas.
Lab Addicts Music
You know what
Group.
time it is? This is Conversations with Maas. Subscribe now. Lock in. Let's go. Real shit, street shit, man, we watching Maas. Real shit, street shit,